Okay, we're live. You are looking live. So I got to get a folks in the intro, right?
Yeah, I'll look
Oh
away
yeah.
so in case I start giggling.
Oh God. That's...
You know what we should do at the end of every episode? We should get like the Bugs Bunny, like that's all, folks, and then that's how our episodes end.
If I
That's
can find it.
that's all, folks.
Or is that a different thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. I just
I
can't
think it's a
remember.
Looney Tunes thing. Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Ready when you are.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Go with the Flow podcast. Rejoined after a little bit of an absence. We have had some issues with the Twitterverse. Our Twitter account went awry a few weeks ago. Obviously, had worked hard to maintain it and post our articles and the podcast links and to try to interact with some of you. We have restarted that account. It's now at GWTF podcast underscore GWTF podcast underscore. But for the April 10th edition of the Go with the Flow podcast, rejoined by my Liney's Kevin Bartman and Dan Merritts. Fellas, how you doing?
Good man. How you doing?
Yeah, long time no see.
Good to be back.
It's been ages.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep it short and sweet today with the number of topics. Obviously, we've got a lot to catch up on. There's a lot going on in the hockey community. Sad stuff, obviously, with Humboldt, which we'd like to cover to begin the show. And then we'll talk about Ilya Kovalchuk, rumored to be going to the New York Rangers, returning to the NHL after retiring from the Devils in the National Hockey League 2013, 3 years into a 15-year, $100 million deal. And then we want to do a little bit of a Stanley Cup playoffs preview. So we've got some pretty tasty matchups there, but we'd be remiss to, as hockey fans and, podcasters, I guess, and Dan obviously played and still plays a little bit. What's going on up in Saskatchewan right now with the Humboldt Broncos? One of you guys maybe want to give the backstory? I've kind of been running my mouth here with the intro, but I'm sure everyone's heard it, at home who's been listening. But maybe a little bit of a background, and then some of us can just give our thoughts on what's transpired, because I think obviously the story is devastating. It's a tragedy. There's been some interesting twists and turns since the accidents that took quite a few lives, but there's also been a lot of inspirational and feel-good stories based on the healing process so far. So whoever wants to take it away, give a little background, and then maybe we can give our thoughts on what this all means.
Yeah, well, I think Dan, I think you can go ahead. You're
Yeah.
reading the story off air,
Um.
so go ahead.
Yeah. I guess for people that might not have heard or something. 15 are dead, and it's like 14 or 15 are wounded. And it's just a really horrible crash and whatnot. But it's devastating shit, especially for guys like me and my buddies who we all played juniors. I've had teammates that have played for that team, so especially for them, they're pretty rattled about the whole thing. They're a few years out from playing with Humboldt, but obviously those connections, stick with you the rest of your lives. Billet parents, all that kind of stuff. So obviously, just a really, really sad process or event, I should say. Um, and yeah, both teammates that I was teammates with, just sort of tweeted out and Instagrammed, the Humboldt Strong stuff, and talked about that specific community and how awesome that whole experience was for them. One being a player who only played for 8 games, but obviously he felt touched enough um, to talk about it. And, it's really sad because for me, and I'm sure, some of the guys that play up here at St. John's and anywhere else, is the roadies were some of the most fun experiences you could have while playing juniors, just hopping on a bus, traveling a couple hours with the boys, going back to the hotel and just relaxing, fucking around. That was the life, just hanging out with, basically your best friends all day, every day. So, it's really, really sad to see such an immense, loss of life. But at the same token, Nick, like you said, the feel good stories that are coming out, if there's one thing that you learn when you watch hockey, not only in the NHL, but anywhere, is how close knit everybody is. Even, your most bitter rivals can be your best friends off the ice. And I think the whole response by the NHL community, the hockey community, has been fantastic. Kevin, you're saying off air, like $6.2 something million have been raised so far.
Yeah, it was,
which is tremendous,
yeah.
Obviously, because it only happened, just within the last week or so. And I really like what the Hawks and the Jets did before their opener. They all just wore the Broncos thing on the back of their jerseys. So, it's just important for Humboldt to know that, everybody's got their back, and how, we're all, hoping for the best for all those that are still in the hospital, and the families that have lost their sons. Obviously, our prayers go out to them. So,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see how many people in the hockey community were affected by this. You saw Mike Babcock, of all people, was, extremely rattled by this because, he's right from around that area. And then, Ken Hitchcock, he was on TV earlier. But it's really cool to see how actually tight knit the hockey community is, like both in Canada, US, anywhere. Like, I think their initial goal, the GoFundMe, was like $2 million. And then in 18 hours, they crushed that goal, and now they're upwards of like 6.5 million. And you see all this stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and it's just like the awareness is fantastic, and for how tragic this was, just to see everyone rally around such a small community is really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. And the part about this tragedy too that's so crazy is how many different parts of the organization it affected, because Dan, we were talking off air, you said, there's multiple players, the head coach, I believe a play-by-play announcer, stat keeper. My apologies if I'm missing anybody, but because every life is equal. It's sad. Everyone's part of the team. Every person that I just mentioned, or every capacity that those people are in, are crucial in order to run, a hockey team and hockey operations. But it's just really sad. And we had this a few years ago too with the Yaroslavl team out in Russia, with their team plane going down, and it's just kind of like the worst. I believe their president says it's just kind of like our worst nightmare has happened. Hard to imagine. It just sucks that you don't want to see it in other, rather happen in another sport. You want to see it happen in any walk of life, but it's just kind of crazy that in the last 5-6 years, you had a professional team, and then a team that a lot of NHL players in the hockey community has an attachment to. Just a couple really sad tragedies, and but I think that people in the healing process, a lot of money's been raised. Not to put pressure on the NHL or anything, but yeah, I'm sure you could fully expect like a preseason game next year there or something where all the money and stuff goes towards victims, families, whatever funds they cared about. But yeah, it's just an incredibly sad story. Not a lot of details about why, but how it happened. But I don't think the time is now to look and pointing fingers about why it happened or what could have been avoided. It's just about the healing process, and the facts will come out and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's 15 people lost their lives, and sure, there's going to be a lot of guys, hopefully in the Stanley Cup playoffs, who understand that those kids played for the love of the game and coached, and weren't making a lot of money doing it, and played for the love of the game. And I think you're going to see a lot of people put their heart and soul in the Stanley Cup playoffs because they've kind of got this duty and honor now to honor those kids and play hard. And maybe Kevin wants to touch on it too. The twigs on the front porch thing is super cool.
Yeah, it's just like pretty recently, as early as this morning, all these hockey personalities on Twitter, they're leaving their hockey sticks out on their front door, and it's saying like, in case these boys want to use them, go get them. It's just like a really cool symbol for like you said, Nick, like these kids just love to play hockey, and it's just one of those things how strong the hockey community is, and how behind that humble community they are. So pretty cool to see. And then yeah, that's all I got. I'll cut that. What time are we at?
About 10 minutes 45 seconds.
All right, then let's just go into Kovalchuk. I'll figure out like where I should cut my part because I was just kind of rambling.
Yeah. All right. So sorry. I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Definitely. So as much as it's sad, I think we can all agree that the unwavering support from NHL organizations, hockey players, even people who might not be hockey fans, who just know that these are a lot of young men that lost their lives and stuff, and just want to make an impact. Donate $5 where they can, whatever the case is, or tweet out love and support. Also, that image of the 3 guys holding each other's hands was kind of moving for sure. Probably hard to imagine them recovering from some pretty brutal injuries and also having to deal with the mental strain of losing so many people so close to them. Unexpectedly, pretty unfathomable, hard to imagine. But pray for them. Humbled strong. Folks at home, if you can, donate. Do whatever you can. Tweet a picture of your twig outside. Do something. I think love and support right now is going to help the healing process there. So yeah, I think that's a wrap for Humboldt for now. So looking forward to a lot of those guys making a healthy recovery moving forward. So boys, Ilya Kovalchuk rumored to be returning to the NHL. Like I said, he had a massive 15-year deal he'd signed with New Jersey. He had a 17-year deal he signed, but they ruled it to be circumventing the salary cap. I think it was like 17 years, $102 million. Wound up being 15,100. He plays 3 years in Jersey after going there, or he plays 3 years into that deal. Went to the Stanley Cup in 2012 with them. Goes over to St. Petersburg. Unexpectedly retires in the middle of his prime. He might have been 30 at that point. Might have been 30. Maybe he was only 29. But reportedly, it's not official yet, but it looks like he's going to be signing a 3 or 4 year deal with the New York Rangers. And I wrote a blog about it on Let Me Be Frank Sports, but letmebefrankblog.com if you guys want to check that out. Going to be getting some more content up during Stanley Cup playoffs. Hopefully we'll get some preview stuff up that'll tag along with what we talk about today. But initial thoughts on him going to New York, in my opinion, pretty bizarre. You saw New York dump a lot of guys recently. Derek Stepan at the draft, McDonough, JT Miller, Rick Nash. There's a changing of the guard with the blue shirts in the Big Apple. So for a guy that reportedly had cup aspirations, why the hell is he going to New York? Is it money? I mean, we don't know the terms yet, but it's just really bizarre because they stink. But now he wants to win a cup at 34. It doesn't seem like the Rangers would be the place to go do it. But let you guys get your get an word in here edgewise.
Yeah, it's not like Ilya Kovalchuk is like the last piece the Rangers need to win a cup. Like,
No,
they have nothing now. Like, did he not see this whole ordeal about how their GM and their owner sent out a memo or whatever about like, yeah, we're going to dismantle this franchise.
So what are they
start over?
Why are they even interested in him? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Like, I mean, he's still a good player, like you said, but I can't imagine like he's going to take a cheap deal. Like, he's probably going to cost a pretty penny.
No, of course he wouldn't take a cheap deal. I mean, think about the last deal he took with the Devils.
You're right.
And,
so, like,
I mean, I don't know. It's
how can you not know what's going on? Like in NHL?
Well, like I don't know. I love him and I hate him because I love him for the player that he is because he's good, but I think his attitude fucking sucks. But like Nick, you said, like it just doesn't make sense. Like to me, he's always kind of been about the money. Like he got paid a shit ton with New Jersey, and then he left. He went to go back to the KHL, which obviously they're paying him out the ass for. I'm sure. I don't know the exact amount of money that he's making, but to me, it's like why now? Like why are you making this decision now? Like why did you leave in the first place? Like he's always been that guy.
I think Jágr did. In fairness, Jágr fucking did it.
But Jágr had also won a couple cups before he left.
True.
And New York doesn't even have a coach anymore. They just fired Vigneault.
That's also a very good point. They don't have a coach. It's like, why are you coming into this now? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So
he might just want to like play in New York City, and maybe he doesn't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's not too out of the question, to be honest.
And I had written this in my piece, but the only thing I can think of from a New York Rangers managerial standpoint, why, if you're rebuilding or retooling on the fly, whatever the hell they're going to call it, why are you bringing in Kovalchuk now? The only like thing I can think of is why do you want to pay this guy a pretty penny if you guys stink? And maybe Vladislav Nemestikov needs a mentor. I don't really know. That's kind of the only thing I can really think of is, he's their young, he's the prize of the return from the McDonough, JT Miller trade deadline blockbuster from Tampa. You get Nemestikov back in that deal, who was playing on the top line at the time of the trade. Russian connection there, but that might be grasping at straws, but
yeah,
it might not be though.
I feel like their thinking is like backwards almost, because like maybe they're thinking, oh, if we bring in Kovalchuk, maybe that'll, sort of turn things around, kind of get some friction going, and like maybe people want to come to New York and play for the Rangers.
Yeah, John Tavares will want to just
even that. Like, why would he want to play with Ilya Kovalchuk?
I don't know.
It's like, hey, John, you want to play with Ilya Kovalchuk for the Rangers? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I feel like you just stick with Barzal.
Yeah. Or, come to Chicago or something like that. Who knows?
Oh man. Yeah. The Tavares thing's interesting. We could talk about that a little bit. I don't know if we plan on doing this, but the JT thing is really interesting.
He said he wants to stay in New York or Long Island, I should say.
Yeah. He didn't seem really he seemed kind of non-committal at the end of the year. I'd like to stay, I've played here a long time, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but would any rational Islanders fan have faith in that organization? I mean, Garth Snow stinks. He's a terrible, terrible general manager. I mean, the Barzal thing is great, but you can't have your whole future pinned on one guy. At some point, you have to have a decent supporting cast. That defense is god awful.
Goaltending.
Our old Blackhawks friend Nick Leddy is the winner of the
the Green Jacket.
The green ticket for the worst plus minus in the entire NHL. So
won it by a mile too.
yeah, did he? I didn't realize.
I think he did. Yeah.
Like, do you remember what the discrepancy was between?
It was like 11 or something. He was already gassing beers going to the 18th hole. He was just like, he's in one. He's got it clinched.
The fucking Commodore picture was killing me. Duchesne was like putting on the jacket.
And the commies in the background.
And Batman. That was some funny shit.
I just looked it up. The closest one was Oposo, Kyle. He was a minus 34. Letty was a minus 30. Excuse me. Letty was a minus 42.
What? 42?
Minus 42.
I didn't know it was that bad. Like, I knew it was
52 points, too. So that's a lot of fucking goals you're on the ice for, obviously. And the nearest one was minus 34.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's going to be playing like the best lines against every team, and they're just going to get, their shit kicked every game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
get pumped.
Yeah, shit
not bad on the points end, 50 points.
Yeah, we could use a guy like that.
We really could.
Yeah.
If only we had a chance to get Nick Letty.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Wouldn't that be something?
We actually have a goalie who could get a stop, if Crawford's healthy. But
yeah. Anyways.
I've always thought with Letty, he's just he's a sheltered power play quarterback. You don't want him getting any sort of defensive zone starts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want him when the faceoff's in your end. You don't want him out there. But if you've got a late game situation where you need a goal or you're running a power play, I mean, he's a great guy to have on the blue line. But yeah, you can't trust him to play a top six forward.
No,
he's a great skater, coast to coast guy, decent first pass guy, but decent shot. Kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none outside of the skating ability. But overall, he could be good. But I think it's a combination of the Islanders were just a shit show. Loosey-goosey style of play, all about the offense, and then they have shitty goaltending. So, but, I mean, you can't be fucking minus 42. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if Scott Foster's in the net. You can't have a minus 42. Is that the guy's name, the accountant?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even when Ovi won it a couple of years ago, he was like a minus 35. That was embarrassing, though, because he had so many points. And he's a forward.
Shit. Yeah.
But even he was a minus 42. Like, holy shit.
But back to Tavares real quick. I mean, gut feeling, it's early. Obviously, if he goes anywhere, he can't go anywhere for like 11 weeks or whatever it is. I mean, July 1st. I mean, we're a long ways away. But maybe, are there any teams you think would be interested, or what would you put the odds on him leaving or staying? I mean, I know this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I think it's like 50-50. I think a part of him really wants to stay. You've got Barzal. You have that loyalty to the organization. They took him first overall. But he's got to be looking around like, outside of this kid, I don't really have a lot of help. I don't really believe in the front office. I mean, if a team steps up with a big offer, if it goes up like they say it might, I mean, there's a number of teams that could go after him. I mean, I think if Vegas uses that cap space to make a big sign, I think we all think it's going to be that juggernaut class of defensemen. They'll probably try to get a Carlson, Doughty, OEL type guy, but and they're a team I could think of. I mean, Toronto's always been linked to him, but I mean, they're a good team. Playoffs again this year now. You're going to have to sign Matthews and Nylander and Marner. I mean, Marner's a guy who's really fucking picked it up. He was so shit the first 30 games. I think he had like 2 goals his first like 30, 35 games, but he's absolutely been lighting it up down the stretch here. So Toronto, the good finish to the year. Finally getting Matthews healthy again. Playing Boston, but we'll get to playoffs. But Tavares, is he going to be back or not? Or is it just too early to call right now?
I think, it's too early because there are a lot of perks to staying with the Islanders. Like, they have that new proposed like I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a huge complex, basically, where their team's going to be playing their games going forward, and then, but like, then again, their team is awful, and like, I feel like you can't build a contender with that team overnight. Like, it's going to take probably a couple more years at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So I like every team is obviously going to be interested in having John Tavares on their team, but like, I mean, you only got to consider the ones that have the money. But there's going to be teams out there that are going to, probably pay top dollar for a guy of his ilk. So, like, at the end of the day, I feel like the chances of him staying in Long Island are like really small. Like, I'd put it at 25-30%, which I guess is really small, but like,
damn,
I don't think he's going to be an Islander. I think he's on the move.
I think he is too. I just think it's, I think you can only throw out we've got a new rink, this, that, and the other, perks for so long before a guy of his caliber goes, I want to win a fucking cup. And if that means I have to leave, then so be it. So yeah, I was going to put it at like 60-40%, like 60 he would leave, 40 he wouldn't. But obviously, Kev, we both said it. There's so much time still before that happens. There's a lot of stuff that's in play, but I don't think you can throw the perks at him any longer. I think, he's obviously, nobody's getting any younger. I think their last playoff appearance was a couple of years ago. It was a first round exit. So, eventually they're going to want to, eventually he's going to want to move.
Oh, did they beat Florida?
Or they might have they beat Florida and then they lost to, man, I don't know who they lost to.
Pittsburgh?
But,
it might have been Pittsburgh.
It might have been Pittsburgh, yeah. But either way,
whatever.
I think he's out of there. I think he's going to want to pick a team that's got a better chance of, consistently being there in the conversation for cup contenders year in and year out. So,
especially because, like you said, Garth Snow really does have no idea what he's doing. Because, like, for the longest time, their probably biggest need has been a goaltender, and they've just had like these low to mid tier level goalies starting in their net, and like that's just not going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Their last playoff run, they had who was it?
It
was Thomas Greiss, yeah, Jesus Greiss, who got up only to the second round.
Yeah,
so, I really don't. I can't imagine a scenario where Garth Snow persuades him to stay. I just really can't.
Yeah, I mean, I said 50-50. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say on the coin flip, I'd predict that it would say he left. But there is that pride thing too, where I want to finish what I started, but I think once he goes through the free agent process and he's allowed to meet with other teams, that number's probably going to start going into the territory Dan mentioned, like that 60-40 territory, where he's going to go, wow, these other GMs actually have a fucking brain. They actually have a plan. They actually have a better roster in place. Wow, the grass is actually greener on the other side now that I've escaped from our shitty stadium in Brooklyn where the fucking Jumbotron isn't even over center ice and half the people are obstructed from the game, and there's a Honda Civic in the corner. Wow, I can go win in a place. Like, and here's the other thing too. If you're John Tavares, right, and like Barzal, like that's dirt. Like that's dirt nasty. That's a hell of a start to your forward group, right? Those are two really good forwards to have as your nucleus, right? But as much as we just shit on the Rangers' existence and their current status, I mean, they had a nice run. They had a nice run. If guys sign in the state of New York to play in the National Hockey League, guys want to play for the Rangers. They don't want to play for the Islanders.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, guys are always going to roll the dice and go with the Rangers because it's Madison Square Garden, it's history, it's an original six, or
it's literally like a Big Apple. That's the magnet that draws them.
Right.
You're 100% right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they can't even win a free agent battle in their own state. So, and I mean, Tavares has an immense amount of respect around the league. I wouldn't say he's like an underrated player because anyone who follows hockey closely knows how good he is, but he maybe doesn't get the recognition and the accolades a lot because he doesn't play for a good team, and he's playing on the sister team in New York. And it's probably even worse now that the Devils are back in the playoffs. And all the attention right now is on Taylor Hall in that region with how well he's played this year. So yeah, but any teams though? So okay, so you guys both think he's leaving. I say 50-50, but I think it quickly shifts. I'm just saying right now, early April, with free agency, let's just call it 3 months away. I mean, I think it's 50-50, but I think once that early meeting period shit starts and he starts realizing that there are greener pastures out there, I think he's gonna be gone. But I wouldn't rule him out. I wouldn't rule out him returning because maybe he believes in what's there and wants to finish what he started. But I think that would be a mistake for his legacy. Let me just put it that way.
To leave?
No, to stay. I think it would be a huge mistake for his legacy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
I think
this great player on bad teams. And when they beat that Florida team, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just no.
Yeah.
Fuck that. No.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you can't really pinpoint or even give a good prediction of where he'll go because it's so early in the process.
There's just so much up in the air still. But
the easy answer is Toronto, but who fucking knows, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's so many teams with cap space that with the cap going up and so many teams in warmer climates that don't spend money and teams looking for a guy to put them over the edge. I mean, I think it's going to be if John Tavares hits UFA, man, that's going to be
You think Vegas goes for that?
I mean, they could, man.
Why not? They have.
Because what I was saying is they're going to save their loot for the defenseman. I mean,
do you realize how much money they have?
I mean, they could get both.
They could get, yeah.
Could.
And I mean, if you have John Tavares, it just makes you that much more
attractive.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, all right.
Maybe it's Vegas.
All right, let's talk about the playoffs.
That'd be
nice. All right, well,
get to it.
Do we want to start with them since their first ever playoff appearance? Yeah. Unless anyone wants to start.
No, Vegas is a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Right there.
So we have the inaugural playoffs for Las Vegas, Nevada. First professional sports playoffs to ever be played there of the Big Four sports. They are playing the LA Kings. So Vegas, not the actual team, the odds makers at this current juncture have Vegas minus 130 and the Kings plus 110. They are anticipating a close series. LA with John Stevens behind the bench has had a bit of a revival this year. Obviously, we all know it's very well documented about the Kings' run from 2012 to 2014, 2015 or so, going to a few conference finals in a row, couple cups. Just boys' initial thoughts on the series. I mean, obviously Vegas is the favorite. They've been studs all year. But is there anything that is of concern to you about Vegas in this playoff round? I mean, it could be anything from as basic as, well, they're not experienced in the playoffs. I mean, even though they got a guy like Fleury, maybe there's a lack of playoff experience on the team that's concerning. For me, I'm not convinced they have a shutdown defenseman in a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
I really like their team, but I mean, I think the lack of a true number 1B, this is where it's the playoffs. This is where it could start catching up with you. But just initial thoughts on the series and give your predictions or whatever the hell you want to do.
I mean, I'm pumped for when you look at all the playoff series. It's going to be a fun year to watch. In this one, definitely be fun too. And I think we've kind of always talked about it in the past. I think we talked about it last year too when we were when playoffs were just about to start. You give LA a playoff spot, it doesn't matter where it is, they immediately become a huge threat to whoever they play. You know, you were talking about their back end. I think the Kings have a better back end, Drew Doughty being the first name that you think of. You know, and Quick's been a proven goaltender. He's got 2 cups. The dude is just absolutely shut down come playoff time. And Fleury on the other end can be, you don't know. He can be, you know, Flower that won the cup last year or in 2009, or he could be the guy that struggled in the years in between. And with a defense that might not be as strong as LA's. I got LA winning in 6. That's going to be my prediction. I'm going to go for the upset. I just think LA's experience is a little bit greater. I think LA is a little bit more balanced from their top 6 to their back end to the goaltending. You know, Carter, Kopitar, those guys come out. So I've got LA in 6, but it'll be a hell of a series. I'm sure T-Mobile is going to be just rowdy as hell. In Vegas, we should go to Vegas and watch a game. that'd be nuts. I think
in like sin. I would be very
that would be just an unreal playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
I got LA in 6, so that's LA. Yeah, that's LA winning it in Vegas. So
yeah, I think like
no, when that Vegas has home ice.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So that would be in
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's in LA. That's my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not the NBA. We don't do this 2-3-2.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Fuck me.
I think like my immediate concern is, like Nick, you mentioned the experience, not only from like an individual level, but like as a unit. You know, you got a team that's been together with LA. Like I don't know how many, like probably like at least 5 or 6 of them, maybe more than that, who have played together. And like you said, they went on that that stretch of years where they won 2 cups, went to a couple conference finals. And, you know, you got guys like Kopitar, Dustin Brown, who actually has had a pretty solid year despite like being a pile of garbage last year. And then you got like Quick, even guys like Tyler Toffoli, Alec Martinez, who are just like pests. Like they're always
right place, right time.
Yeah, Alec Martinez, fuck that guy.
Asshole.
Anyways, but like that's kind of a deciding factor for me, because like you can say all you want about the atmosphere that's going to be in LA, but like that's still uncertain. And then like you just don't know how well they're going to perform in the playoffs. Like the playoffs are a whole different animal. And then when you compare them with the team that's been there, they're still a very good hockey team. Like you just got to go with LA. I feel like they got the edge. So it's going to be a good series. Like it's not going to be a sweep.
Like rags to riches thing that, you know, how Vegas was put together. That was kind of one of the things that made me decide LA. Like you just said, the length of which that core has been together to me trumps, you know, the Vegas squad.
Yeah. So like, I still think it's a good series because like,
I think it'll be a really fun one to watch.
I think they want people to keep betting against them though. You know what I mean? The guys were throwaways. The whole roster were They're the expendables. Okay, right? I mean, shit.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the truth. Even the fucking coach got cucked when Gallant got fired from Florida. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, they made him take a cab.
Like these guys, from every aspect, they're motivated. All right, like. I mean, Fleury loses the job to a kid, Murray. That kid's now got 2 cups. I mean, Fleury obviously stepped in and played a role. I mean, every guy on that team, for a number of different reasons, backgrounds, experiences, lack of chances, whatever it is, they want people to bet against them, and we were all convinced, like everyone else, that they were going to stink this year. They're awesome. Only Nashville had a better points total than them from the West. So, I mean, I think people just want to keep betting against them. And it's this whole thing where you've had this feeling in the back of your head, like, it's really, this is a great story. From going back to the tragedy in Vegas at the concert to, this is a team of destiny and these guys all come together and, guys like Jonathan Marchessault and William Wild Bill Carlson, these guys are like bona fide superstars now. It's just this crazy story. And you always have this feeling like, man, it's just too good to be true, right? Like how the hell could an expansion team be this good when no one expected them to be this good? Like it's just a fluke city. You're playing over your head. Now you're playing in LA, who's super experienced, but LA, the last few years, I mean, they've had a decent year. This year, they're still a wild card team. I know Dan said they're dangerous. I mean, based on what you guys, I don't disagree with anything you said, but how many more times can we doubt Vegas until we just learn our lesson that, you know what?
It
doesn't make
win
sense.
The Stanley Cup, I will stop doubting them. I'll give you that. I will stop doubting them at that point.
I really want to bet on LA. Like, I really want to put some of my hard-earned U.S. currency on the Kings to win. But I just feel like I'm just like setting myself up for failure.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about this? I guess this isn't really the best argument, but like we've seen it before in the playoffs. What happens if Fleury goes down? They're fucked.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
Yeah, but they were on their fourth stringer in the beginning of the year, and it didn't even slow them down.
Right, but
they're still fucked.
Playoffs now.
They lost what? Subban and
Donsk, whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know who the other two were.
That legacy guy played a little bit. I remember.
Oh yeah, that's the other guy. And the thing is, like the next series, you're either playing Anaheim or San Jose, who are, in my opinion, like obviously very beatable teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll just be different. I'm going to say Vegas wins, but I have planted the seed of doubt in my head. The only reason is I've counted out Vegas all year. I don't know why I gotta, like I count not all year, but in the beginning of the year, and then a couple weeks in the season, I'm like, this is still a fluke. Bet a buddy from home. Oh yeah, like they'll come down to earth. Nope. If anything, they got better. So I think LA is a really good team. I mean, it's the same group, the same core that won them those two cups, but I don't know if they're the same team. Is Jonathan Quick going to be 2012 Jonathan Quick? Is Kopitar going to be 2012, 2014 Kopitar?
He could be. Kopitar's had a fucking great year.
Yeah, he has.
I know, but dude, those guys were firing on all cylinders in 2012 and 2014. All cylinders. I mean, do you think this same core can get to that level again?
I think they can. I think they're good enough to get past an expansion team in
I agree.
Vegas. I know that's kind of like a degrading, term, an expansion team, but like it's what they are. Like it's not like they've been playing as a unit for a stretch of years now. Like they've been together for not even a full calendar year. So
yeah,
I think
like it's really hard to think they can trump a team that's been there together, who's still a good team.
Yeah, but Vegas has home ice advantage too for more than one reason, because I mean that's going to be raucous. It's going to be up for grabs.
Yeah,
that will be, as they call it, lit.
Yeah, as the kids say.
As the kids say, yeah, because we're totally old. Anyway, but yeah. Kevin, you mentioned they're going to have to play the winner. The winner of this series plays the other Pacific Division foes, Sharks and Ducks. For me, out of all the playoff series, I think this is the one I have absolutely no inclination on. I think this shit could go fucking either way. I don't know if you guys agree. This is the one I really don't have a pulse on it. I'd probably lean Anaheim.
I'm just leaning Anaheim too.
I trust Gibson more than Martin Jones. Am I crazy on that? Because I don't know if that's fair.
It's kind of like the same story as LA to some extent. It's just like it's two teams who have had like a decent nucleus of guys who have been there for a few years now. And it's just like it's an absolute coin flip in that series. Like there's no team that really stands out. They're both just kind of like, yeah, they're pretty good.
And both are really, really good at home. Both are also really, really good on the road.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But I got Anaheim in it. I didn't really have a reason why. I just happened to pick Nick, like you said. I really don't. It's literally a coin flip. So I just picked. And I think it's going to be 6. It'll be a long series because they're both good. It could go 7.
I'm going to go with Raquel coming out party this series.
Yeah, and I mean, now that like Anaheim, they bolstered their forward group or not even at the deadline. It was like kind of towards the beginning of the year. They got Adam Henrique,
yep,
and he's been playing well. So, like, yeah, they just have that forward group. Like, you have Ricard Raquel, who is, I guess it could be his coming out party, but he's always been like a stud in my opinion. And then, yeah, like you said, John Gibson, Martin Jones, 2 great goalies.
What does San Jose have to do? What does San Jose have to do to win the series?
I think Brett Burns needs to be huge. He's not been huge all year, which is kind of a problem now that I'm thinking about it.
And I think Jones has to too.
Yeah.
Which he was when they went to the Cup final. He was their absolute backbone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, he definitely has the potential. He's shown it. It's just a question of whether he does it or not. And there's no Marlowe this time either. Thornton's without, you still have the 2 old dogs on Anaheim, Getzlaf and Perry. You don't have the same duo on San Jose anymore.
I mean, you could still say they got Pavelski, though, who's...
Yeah.
Evander Kane, too, I guess, who's like...
Yeah, true.
In addition, forgot about him.
I don't like Evander Kane.
Yeah, well... Yeah. Evander Kane against Anaheim in the playoffs is going to be very interesting. That's going to be... Yeah. He's going to take a dumb penalty in that series. That's my minus 1 million that he takes like a
too bad there's not a prop. Does Evander Kane take a dumb penalty?
Oh, Corey Perry, mark it down. Corey Perry is going to be up his ass the whole series.
Yeah,
and so will Kessler.
Fuck Ryan Kessler. Why'd you have to bring him up?
Forgot about him.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. That's just another whole element.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had a mental midget in Evander Kane, and then you just got like a group of agitators in Anaheim
who
are also very good. Yeah.
Jaxa too.
Huh? Oh my god, dude, you're pissing me off. Just naming all these guys. He's
gonna take a dumb penalty every game, isn't he? It's gonna be someone new every game. Well, game 1 will be Bieksa. Game 2.
I mean, the thing is, though, I haven't seen a lot of Sharks games lately. I'll admit it. Okay?
I got murdered by the Wild at home just a few days ago. I didn't even watch that, though. I haven't seen them play in a long time either.
We call that hunting.
Ooh, folks.
yeah, there we go. But as much as we like to shit on Evander Kane for, being a mental midget and all that shit, but they have Pavelski, they have Vlasic, they have Thornton. I mean, they got Couture. I think in a heat of the moment rivalry series, they'll probably be able to keep them in check, and they're probably coaching them up right now, like, Corey Perry, Kevin Bieksa, Ryan Kessler, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to be a bag of dicks all series. But you know what? You got to keep it in check. You're playing the most important hockey of your life now. Your games in Winnipeg didn't matter. Your games in Buffalo didn't matter. Your games in Atlanta sure shit didn't matter. But now they matter, and you have to have you have to have control. You have to have self-control, and you have to be responsible. And, if you take a selfish penalty, it's going to hurt your team. And in a series that we're basically calling a coin flip, I mean, you just can't have a guy being –
yeah, absolutely.
This might be irrational of us. We're just assuming he's going to go out there and be an asshole. But I mean, I really think Gibson could be a stud in this series. And Getzlaf has a way of turning things up. And the other thing too is Anaheim has some guys at the end of the game you just want. Like they're killer on faceoffs. Like Anaheim might do really well, on possession. Like I feel like Anaheim's gonna win the big draws. I mean, Kessler, Vermette, two of the best in the business. Gibson can play well, and Anaheim's got firepower up front, and I mean their D is obviously really good because I mean shit, they traded fucking Sammy Vatanen earlier in the year. I mean, if you trade a guy like that, that means you got depth. So, I'm going to give the edge to Anaheim based on how Kevin was saying Burns wasn't playing well. I'll go Anaheim in 7. I mean, kind of a cop out because it's 50-50, whatever. I'll say it goes 7.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
So we're all on the Ducks in 7. That's kind of
cool. 6 or 7 is my my prediction.
Yeah.
Want to get to the Central? I feel like that's kind of
obvious, go East. Yeah, real quick, Colorado has. I don't think
Kunsel.
No chance.
Don't even show up.
Colorado, they're done. Done.
No chance.
Well, I mean, with the goaltending situation now, it's
well, they're really fucked. I thought they were fucked before that. Now they're like uber fucked, if that's a word.
Yeah, it is, and that's what they are. No Varlamov.
I got Nashville in 5. I think they'll sneak one in.
What? I mean, seriously.
4.
Yeah, I could see it going 4. I just thought maybe they would sneak one in at home at the Pepsi Center and force things back, but. I can easily see this going.
What is the problem with Nashville's roster? When I look at their team, I don't see an issue. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe if Rene isn't playing well, that's the big.
But it's concern. So hard to say that before.
Exactly. That's
what
why
happened last year. You used to be like, oh, you could count on Rene fucking up somehow, and now it's the complete opposite. It's like the dude is just solid in net.
Yeah,
and it's like even if he doesn't
having that D helps. That defense.
Yeah, exactly. Even if he doesn't show up, their defense is so good, and they can get into a barn burner too. They've got so much offensive talent. They can beat you in 5 or 6 different ways. And Colorado.
That's why they're amazing.
I think they'll be back in the.
They're tough. They're fast. I mean, the team is already a juggernaut. You get Kolvinen now for the playoffs, and
oh my god, yeah,
they're almost
a healthy Johansson.
Oh.
You add Kyle Turris. You have fucking Nick Bonino, absolute juggernaut. Kevin Fiala is healthy. He was injured last year.
Yep,
Arvidsson's sick.
Fiala got the winner on the Hawks in Game 3, right?
Who?
Fiala.
Probably.
The OT goal to bury the Hawks.
That does sound right.
Yes.
Sissons was big for them last year, too.
Yeah, he was good.
If they can get secondary scoring like that, look out.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, so fucking Colorado's done.
I mean, the only thing you could say about Nashville is
Ryan Hartman, too.
Yeah, Hartman, right.
A grinder. That's a guy you want in the playoffs, too.
The only thing you could say is James Neal got him a few big goals in the playoffs last year. But I mean, I think they've more than replaced his production.
Turris would be the first name that replaces. Yeah, well, anybody.
Johansson for the end of the Anaheim series in the Cup. So, yeah, I mean, Colorado's a great story. Just being an absolute shit show. McKinnon, unreal year. I think he'll be fun to watch still, but I mean that defense and that goaltending, they have no chance.
No.
They have no for those degenerates out there who might be interested in this, it's minus 500 Nashville. I mean, I don't even know. I want to bet it, but I'm almost hoping Colorado somehow, some way wins Game 1 in Bridgestone. Get the odds down.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, I doubt it happens. This is going to be Nashville in 5. It's just so hard. I mean, hockey, there's a lot of parity, and McKinnon's so good that he could score, 2 goals and Nashville has an off night, and that's how Colorado wins. Like game, I think Nashville runs them over at home. Colorado maybe comes back motivated, wins game 3 at home, and then Nashville buries them the next 2. I just think, I don't see any way Nashville loses the series.
No.
Yeah, it's like probably the biggest no-brainer in the entire playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Look, yeah, it's by far the biggest no-brainer.
Yeah. The last one in the West, though, I'm really pumped for Winnipeg and Minnesota. That is such a heated rivalry. And I don't know if it's because I'm going to school up here or whatever, but I'm really, really pumped to watch the Wild and the Jets play. That one, to me, that one in the West is going to be the one that I tune into absolutely every night.
Dude, I want Winnipeg to win. I'm sick of watching the Wild poop the bed in the playoffs. Give me Winnipeg, Nashville. Also, a damn shame that matchup has to be. That it just sucks that it's exclusively has to be in the second round. This is where the playoff format burns you a little bit. But,
yeah,
dude, just give us Nashville, Winnipeg, please.
I have Minnesota in 7, though. That being said,
what?
Really?
Whoa!
Well,
you go first, please.
All right. I understand Suter's out. I get Suter's out, and that's a huge, huge loss. I've been able to watch them play a lot, and they're playing. Their guys are stepping up. Their other defensemen are stepping up in really, really big ways, and I know there's a lot of things that Winnipeg has over goal scoring line A. We've talked about Winnipeg's offense numerous times. Something just, I don't know why. I know Winnipeg's definitely the favorite in this one, but something tells, if Dubnyk stands on his head and that Wild defense plays the kind of the way that they have been playing, which is just absolutely shut down defense. I got to watch him play against Connor McDavid, and he was relatively, you didn't really notice him. You just noticed him because he's so fucking fast. The dude takes 3 strides and he's up to speed. But in terms of scoring chances, he got none. And, most people, well, not most people, but a lot of people consider him to be the best player in the world right now. So I think if they play that solid defense, they might be able to wear out Winnipeg and take it. I think it's going to be a long series either way. I think if Winnipeg wins, it'll be in 6 or 7, and if Minnesota wins, it'll be in 6 or 7. It's not going to be, that 4-game sweep or the 4 games to 1 like Nashville and Colorado. So that's my thought process. You can fucking hate me all you want for it, but I'm sticking with it.
Minnesota 7. That's your pick.
That's my pick.
All right.
I think so. The thing that sticks out to me is just the offensive production you're going to get from Winnipeg.
Holy fuck! You could be more right. They're insane.
Dude, you got playoff line A. I'm excited to watch. Fucking Scheifele just got on the list. They added Stastny, and then
Healers, baby.
Yeah, and then Hellebuck has had a really good year. A fringe Vezina candidate, maybe. He's been really good. Say what you want about the playoffs, there's maybe some doubt there, but there's reason to believe that this team could just shut down the Wild. Honestly, nothing scares me about the Wild. Parise stinks in the playoffs.
They're gonna need their vets to really they're gonna need Eric Stahl. Now Eric Stahl,
he's at a renaissance year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna need him and Parise. I just can't literally or figuratively bet against Winnipeg, get in the scoring department with or Parise and Niederreiter and Eric Stahl gonna outscore Scheifele. We didn't even mention Blake fucking Wheeler. Blake Wheeler.
Yeah. Holy shit, their captain.
Nikolai Wheelers. You've got Bufflin and Trouba generating offense on the back end. Winnipeg is just this is how high I am on Winnipeg. I put them just a slight notch below Nashville. I think they're both really close. Rene's got more playoff experience than Hellebuck. It's the same thing with Vegas, so to speak, with Winnipeg, where there's a relative lack of experience. And let's also remember that Winnipeg home ice is going to be ridiculous.
But so is Minnesota's at the same turn.
Yes.
Those fuckers go nuts. They're wild.
Good one.
I just think
I didn't even realize I did that until you said that. That was totally unintentional.
They go wild, folks.
Fuck.
Yeah, but I think Winnipeg could run it up on them.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, I realize my pick is definitely out there, but I don't know. We've seen
go against the grain. Why not? I did it with Vegas.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen super high-powered offensives just not do anything. I mean, the Hawks the last 2 years, you got all that talent, and they struggled too. I mean, they were the Central Division champs last year, and they got fucking mopped. And yeah, Nashville came out to play, and Nashville played. We talked about this last year. Nashville played a really strong team game from top to bottom. Their forwards are better than ours. Their defense, yada yada yada. But you'd think that Patrick Kane, Panarin duo, and then Anisimov cleaning up the garbage, you'd think that they would do something, and they fucking didn't. 3 goals over the course of 4 games. It wouldn't be the strangest thing that's ever happened in the playoffs if all of a sudden Blake Wheeler and company start failing to produce. And I think Dubnyk, like you were saying, I think Dubnyk is better than Hellebuyck under pressure. I mean, we've seen Dubs, he sort of struggled at the beginning of his career, and he finally found his home in Minnesota. And he's the type of goalie that can, they might get outshot against Winnipeg game 1 or 2, like 40-20, but they might win 2-0 because he stands on his head, and Hellebuyck maybe lets in a squeaker, that shouldn't have gone in. It's just, and that's why I fucking love playoff hockey, because it's just anybody can win. I'm getting amped already. I'm so excited.
I just saw it.
But yeah, so I mean, I realize I'm out there with it, but I'm gonna stick with it. So fuck it.
Well, one little note about the series too is Jared Spurgeon is possibly not going to be ready for the start. Probably not going to be 100% if he plays. I mean, if Jared Spurgeon's not playing game 1 or 2 in Winnipeg, I mean,
that'll be tough.
Yeah,
for sure. Don't make it any easier.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of their better defensemen for sure. So, yeah, you don't have him against a team that's got the forward depth that Winnipeg does, then yikes. So let's shift it east, boys.
Tampa?
Sure. This is an interesting series.
I like it.
It seems like it's like, to me, I mean, I like Schneider and Vasilevsky, both great goalies, but it's like, how good is Taylor Hall? Because he's going to have to put a lot of the burden on his shoulders based on what Tampa has up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tampa's just a scary team all around.
Yeah.
Like if you had to describe them in one word, it's just juggernaut. Like
we've used this word a lot.
I don't think I have. Maybe I have, but I don't think I have.
Oh, I have.
Okay, well, but think about it. You have one of the best goalies in the game. You have arguably the Hart winner in Kucherov. This guy named Stamkos too, pretty good. They added McDonough at the deadline. JT Miller is no slouch either. Fucking Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
And then going back to what I said about the Kings too, like you have a good group of players who have been in the playoffs together for some years now, and they're just really good now. So like that thirst is going to be there. I don't know if you can say that as like a factor, but it's there, and it's just like it's really hard to doubt them.
And the Cooper factor's real. I think Cooper's got a pulse on his players too.
Yeah,
definitely. But like I will say, the Devils they're that one team that's going to be like a tough out. Like in terms of like you have a 1 seed playing a wild card.
Toronto last year almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like
really strong goaltending, really good forwards. Taylor Hall, obviously.
Good defense too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's worth noting.
They sneak in a win or two, and that puts some doubt in Tampa's head. And, that shit just starts to snowball, and it could go the wrong way.
Like they're not going to be a team that just kind of gives in. They're going to play hard the whole series.
Agreed.
And like
he sure could be fun. He sure could be fun because Tampa. We've talked about this before. Tampa, for as much as they do have the good defense and the good goaltending, they do find themselves at times in these kind of high-scoring games, whatever you want to call them. They find themselves in a few 4-3 games, 5-4 games. New Jersey strikes me as a team. I don't think they're a boring team. They're not like the old Devils, but they strike me as a team that's going to probably try to get the first goal and try to tighten things up a little bit. Because I think New Jersey has some good forwards. I like Paul Mary. I like Heishier. Obviously, Taylor Hall arguably could win the Hart. Probably won't, but, I mean, the guy's had as good a year as anybody. I don't think New Jersey wants to get involved in these games with a lot of offensive firepower on full display in numerous scoring chances. I think their best opportunity is to utilize Schneider and that good defense and kind of just try to frustrate Tampa and outwork them and get a big goal from Taylor Hall or something and try to go win it. And the odds of them winning 4 games like that without home ice advantage are kind of low. I'm going to go Tampa in 6. I'm going to go Tampa.
That's what I have too. I have Tampa in 6 as well.
Yeah, I think the Devils are going to steal at least 1.
Yep.
Because like they're, I think that's maybe a lock because they're good enough to do that. But I mean, 6 games, that's pretty accurate. I would say 5, to be honest.
Tampa and 5. I could see that too.
I would say 5.
Okay. All right. So the other side of that bracket is the rematch from one of the all-time great playoff series of recent memory, which was Boston-Toronto. Obviously, that culminated with the Game 7 where Boston came back 4-1 down the third period. Bergeron, OT winner. Pretty devastating for Toronto, but Toronto's got a lot of new faces. There's going to be a lot of talk about that series going into this, and obviously you have the original 6 factor, blah, blah, blah. But Toronto's a lot different team. Nazem Kadri's transitioned to a completely different player, more of like a third-line checking center kind of guy, not being expected to be a top 6 guy. JVR's definitely gotten better since that series. I mean, the goaltending situation's different. There's all these new guys, Austin Matthews, Nylander, Marner, et cetera, et cetera. And Boston's different. I mean, their core is good, but it's older. Krejci's, Chara, Bergeron, still all really good players. Chara's had a nice bounce back year. Marchand, yep. And obviously Tuukka and net. So I think right away there, I think Boston's got the advantage between the pipes. Tuukka's an elite goaltender in this league. And Boston, I mean, they have been rolling all year. They are exceptional. They were just so hot this year. And they have a lot of depth and the defense is good. Losing Carlo kind of sucks for them, but it's the Chucky Bright Lights coming out party. I think Boston's gonna win this series. I think I just trust Tuukka between the pipes, and I really like Boston's experience. And we have talked in the past about how Toronto, maybe that series against Washington last year was the taste of the playoffs. Now they understand what to do to win, but I really think they're just kind of running into a buzzsaw. Just the way Boston has been firing on all cylinders, and the elite goaltending they have and the depth they have. They're just good in every area. I think Toronto definitely can win, but I'm going to go Boston in 6. I'm really high on the Bruins in the playoffs.
I got Toronto in 7. I think that youth is going to be killer for Toronto. And I do think that Rask is a little bit better than Freddie in that. But Freddie, we've seen Freddie in the playoffs before. played really well for the Ducks in 15. And it took the Hawks quite a few games to get going. I think it was like game 5 was when they finally got the scoring going. So, if you can kind of replicate that and mitigate his mistakes, I think Toronto's got a really good shot at this. I think it's going to be a hell of a series, which is why I have it going to 7. I'm really excited. That's going to be the one that I watch in the East that I'm most excited for. But I think the youth, I think a combination of the youth that Toronto has and kind of the aging that Boston has, I think it's going to tip the scale just enough in Toronto's favor for Toronto to take it.
I like
McAvoy. 7.
I like McAvoy and Donato a lot. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I think when you like you mentioned youth, there is a good amount of, I don't know, like not a significant amount, but you do have a good amount of young guys on Boston.
Well, right, yeah.
Donato coming out, McAvoy, Pasternak is sick. This is like the one series where I just don't know right now. Like I'd have to sit down and just like think about it for like an hour or something just to truly get a good prediction, because I really don't know right now. Like my head says that Boston's just like a better team, but Toronto's also a team that like I thought the same thing last year. I was like, Washington's just gonna like stomp Toronto, but no,
I think we all did.
Really good,
year.
Yeah, and they're better. So it's really hard for me to say right now. So like I don't want to give a prediction. We'll probably put out with some blogs, right, with some like previews.
Yeah, we got a couple days.
Yeah, so I will do this one for sure because I just want to like think about it nice and hard.
Sure.
Yeah, you do.
I knew something was gonna happen. It's just who was gonna say it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So
speaking of the Caps, can do
just
that
get
one
in
next.
one. Get in one. Get some liquid confidence about it.
Yeah, I brought some old because Saturday was National Beer Day. So for the Cubs game, I brought a 6er of Old Style, and I still got some left.
Attaboy.
I'll just crush some and
that shit's great.
Crunch the numbers and see what happens.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we won't say them on the air, but you come up with some interesting hypotheses, and I'm interested in how you determine the winner.
Yeah. I'm going on the Let Me Be Frank podcast tomorrow.
Are you?
To give my playoff thoughts. So
excellent.
Maybe I'll crush some beers after class and
boy.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so
it's the next series.
Yep. So we've got we're pretty much undecided on that one as a group. We've got we'll wait for Kevin's blog, and Dano's got the Leafs, and I've got the Bees. I can see Toronto winning too. Let me be frank on this one.
There you go.
They can. That was so fucking terrible. But yeah, I mean, any of these series, I could come up with a fucking reason a team could win, other than Colorado. I think they're
It's like in every other series,
it's over when they get off the bus. I mean, it's over.
Yeah, in every other series, there's like a good solid reason, and there's a good margin of why one team is better than the other.
Absolutely.
This one is just like it's 50-50.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about the San Jose Anaheim series, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but this one's a better series. I care more about this one. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you took the words right. I just don't give a shit.
The San Jose Anaheim. This is why you think that, and I don't mean to put words or thoughts in your head.
Tell me why I think that.
But I mean, let's be real. Anaheim, San Jose is just going to be a grinded out, physical.
Yeah.
Right. And Toronto, Boston could just get like out of control, fireworks, right?
Yeah.
A lot more superstars, a lot more. It's going to be flashier. And you still might get that great goaltending on both ends. So
agreed.
Not to say Anaheim, San Jose is going to be a bad series, because like those are some of the best series though. Like you grind it out 2-1 games. Those are good series. It's just like at the same time, it's just like I don't know. It's Anaheim and San Jose. I'd rather spend my time watching other games or doing other things.
Holy shit. Since we started recording this podcast, Nashville has now jumped to minus 550.
Really? Ooh, something must have just happened.
Sheesh. What?
Maybe something happened, like an injury or something.
Yeah, Eric Johnson got his foot stuck on the accelerator again. And tore his ACL. You guys remember when he did that? He blew out his knee driving a golf cart when he's with the Blues.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
Totally random.
I don't think he remembers that either.
Ooh. I'll go on Reddit real quick and see if there's anything I can find.
Yeah, I don't know why that just happened.
That could just be like a money.
Yeah.
Washington have also jumped very slightly. So looks like the public money is beginning to pour in on the Caps and the
yeah.
Is that so? Maybe with the Caps thing, do we want to start there, or do we want to? Let's leave Philly Pittsburgh for last because that's yeah. This one, fuck. You know what? This one's also kind of. I'm gonna go Washington this series. I'll just say it. I like Columbus. I respect their team as a unit. Is what Kevin mentioned is a integral part of winning in the playoffs is being good as a unit. The problem is they kind of score by committee. Outside of Panarin being an animal this year, putting up 80-plus points, they kind of score by committee, and I just think Washington has, simply put, I think Washington has more forwards that can solve Bobrovsky than Columbus has forwards that can solve a hot Holtby. And I'll just leave it short and sweet. I like Washington's forwards better.
Agreed. That's pretty much why I picked it. I put Washington in 6 exclusively because of Ovi and company.
Yeah, I'll go 6.
The rest of them.
I really don't like just being like, yeah, because I like, it's not good if we have groupthink and say the same thing all the time. It's good for the listeners to have a little bit of a discrepancy. But I mean, how many times do we just have to watch Columbus lose in the first round? I mean, how many times does Pittsburgh just have to wax them? Washington's turn, okay?
Yeah.
And I will say, like, to add a dissenting opinion on the matter. That's a SAT word for you. Columbus has a pretty solid defensive group.
Yes.
The thing is, it's not necessarily like you don't have your stay-at-home shutdown defenseman, but like guys like Berensky, Seth Jones, they added Ian Cole.
It's Murray in?
Ryan Murray.
Yeah.
It's a good group. It really is.
They have Savard too still? David Savard?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And like it's just so because of that, like it doesn't make me want to think that it's going to be a total blowout because I think Washington has a ton of offensive firepower, obviously, but it's like just to add a dissenting opinion.
Yeah,
you have to consider that Columbus has a pretty damn good defensive
absolutely,
group, and they're also a pretty damn good team.
And Bobrovsky's a guy could steal a series. I understand it's very dangerous to trust Washington in the playoffs.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
My brain is wired to think Columbus deserves to lose in the first round because every time they've made it, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And lose to a great. They're always a good team that racks up a bunch of points, has a good overall roster, but I just don't think they have a guy that can take over a series. And the other thing, so their best scorer is a guy who's disappeared for the Hawks 2 years in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, you know what I mean. So that's part of it too.
And I think they've also kind of underperformed a little bit, Columbus, this whole season.
Say the same thing about Washington. This is the 1 year they're not the President's Trophy winner. They're not the. We haven't been saying it's the Caps year all year like we have the last couple.
Yeah, the Metro has been a dogfight this year, though.
Yep, 100%, man.
It's been crazy. So,
more thoughts on this series or?
No, I think that's what you were saying about Washington was the only reason like you said, it's dangerous to trust Washington. I mean, last year we pretty much wrote off Toronto and, I think one of us picked the sweep and it ended up going in 7. I mean, Washington is that team where you can kind of, in the locker room, you might be able to feed off their failure and use that as your success. But yeah, I just, every damn year I pick Washington, I swear. I picked Washington to beat Pittsburgh last year because I just feel like at some point it's got to work for them. But then at the same time, it's like No, it doesn't have to. So
no,
I
ask
have Washington in
Blues
6.
fans. Ask Blues fans. Ask Wild fans. Ask,
Just want to keep that with St. Louis as long as possible.
I'll tell you this: Columbus and Washington will each try to find a great way to lose. They'll just try to hand each other the series, and then I just think at the end of the day, Washington will take it in 6 or 7.
Yeah, agreed.
Kevin, do you have with that? I know you added your dissenting opinion.
I do. I kind of spun it in my head.
Uh-oh.
And
he's firing the cannon.
Yeah, I got the Blue Jackets in 7.
That is that's an American pick from you.
It is.
And
well,
in DC,
I mean, either way, it's an American pick, to be honest.
Why? Well, they're the Blue Jackets. You get it?
Yeah.
And the nation's capital.
The capital, yeah.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either way, you can't go wrong.
Wow, I should give my head a shake for that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, folks.
Last one?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I think, this will be our last little – we've gone a while. But, it's good to be back. We're having fun, and there's a lot to talk about. So, Philly, Pittsburgh. Don't trust Philly's goaltending in the playoffs.
Nope.
Is that fair? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they're good, and they've got the firepower up front. Voracek and Giroux have been fantastic this year. They've been a good story. I think the league's more fun when Philly's good. I mean, their defensemen are no slouches, which is surprising because they were so shitty for so long. But Gostisbehere has been really good this year, and Ivan Provorov is a fucking monster. I love that kid. That kid is unreal. I think he had like 17 goals this year. I mean, he's good in all ends. Really like him. Really like the Ghost Bear. But I mean, how can you pick against Pittsburgh in the playoffs? I mean,
yeah, with Tang back too.
Yeah, too much Tang, man. They've got it going on, man. They're just Crosby and Malkin and Kessel. It's just it's a 7-game series, I mean, you play a 5-game series, Philly might win it, but Pittsburgh in 7 with that offensive firepower, they've got enough defense to get by, and we've seen Murray be good in the playoffs. Sullivan, another coach just like Cooper, he pushes the right buttons, it seems like, all the time. Philly could get really frustrated, and Philly can't get frustrated because that Pittsburgh power play is it's like hockey porn.
Clock.
It really is. I've never seen puck movement like that. I mean, every guy on the ice is a threat. Every guy, like Letang can shoot it, Malkin can shoot it, Kessler, they all can shoot it from the perimeter. Crosby, an unbelievable playmaker. You've got these other guys like Sheary and Gensel and,
Hornquist is like no slouch either.
Hornquist, yeah. I mean, fuck. They're so fucking good. Yeah, give me Pittsburgh in 5. I think Philly's been a great story. But I just Philly's been great, and I think they'll get their fair share of goals. I'd probably bet the over on every game. Now watch that be just asshat wrong, but I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. But I mean, I think Pittsburgh's just going to win a lot of 5-3, 4-3 kind of games. I just think they win it in 5.
I think you're a little higher on Philly's D than I am. I think it's kind of top heavy.
By saying that they're going to get scored on 5 or 4 times every game?
No, well, I mean, you were just mentioning, I'm talking about earlier, you were saying like, yeah, they got Provorov.
As a unit, though, they're not great.
Yeah.
But the top, I'd like Ghost Bear and Provorov a lot. But overall, yeah, I think their bottom pair is going to really struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not to say that their defensive group is bad because, like, they do have really good players, but they're just running into the Penguins.
Pittsburgh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, like, they're going to curb stomp pretty much any team they run into.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm probably in the same boat as you, Nick. I'd say Pittsburgh in 5.
I'd say 5 or 6. I could.
And this is the learning curve for Philly because Sanheim, Gostisbehere, Provorov, those 3 guys get a Pittsburgh series under your belt maybe next year, as long as they keep getting that offensive production and stuff, that they could be right back in the same spot. But yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Oh no, that's. I was just gonna say, I could see Philly sneaking in 2 wins. They're really tough to play at home. They've always been really tough to play at home. And you never know if they sneak one, in those first 2 games at Pittsburgh, that can really change the series in their favor. They've definitely got to steal one on the road if they want any chance of
literally.
I think the longer and longer the series, well, that's not strictly true because Pittsburgh's really good in Game 7s, but I think it'll be 5 or 6. I think Philly's got that potential to, maybe go down 2-0, but then even the series back up 2-2 because they're playing in their own barn. So I'll say Pitt in 5 or 6. I'm not really sure yet.
It is the year of Philly, though. You got to consider that.
Yeah,
oh God, that's true.
They have a lot of good juju going on right now.
Titletown, man.
Yep, Titletown, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Eagles and Nova, man. They're, yeah, I just remember those old, not old. I mean, they're like 5 years ago, but those playoff series where just the goaltending was ass between these two teams, where it was like Brizgalov against like Thomas Vokoun.
Oh my God!
Just like anything can happen, folks. Like this game literally might be 9-8, and like there was one game where I think someone put up 10 in the game. I think it was Pittsburgh. I think put up a 10 spot or something. There was definitely a game where someone put up 10.
It was really fun series. I love the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Those are great with Briere and Hartnell and just good times. Yeah. James Neal kind of being a douche, but but yeah, playoff previews. Do we want to do a cup prediction? Do we need to do our cup matchup and a winner?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right.
Let me just kind of look at the bracket and figure things out real quick. Little gun to my head.
We'll skip what the puck, and this time we'll do what the cup. What the cup? What's it going to be?
Oh. If you spell puck backwards or say it backwards, it's cup.
Yeah. Yeah. We have no Brian Rust on us this episode. Let's go.
Oh.
All right, enough puns, and let's get to the fucking nitty gritty.
All right, I think I got it. You
got your cup matchup. All right, go.
My Stanley Cup matchup is going to be a rematch.
Fuck!
I got the Nashville Predators winning in 6 games over the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow.
That is it, folks.
That's gross.
Go, Dan.
Fuck. I guess I'm gonna go Tampa and Nashville. I don't think anybody's gonna stop Nashville in the West. But I'll take Tampa and Nashville. I'll take Tampa. I'll take Tampa in 6. No, Tampa in 7. If it's those 2 teams, I'll say 7.
Yeah, I got. I think it's going to be a rematch of early 2000s. I think we're going to get Colorado, New Jersey.
No.
No.
That would be ridiculous.
I am also going rematch. I think it would be cool to see a team go for 3 in a row. I really want to see Tampa make it. I love that team. I love Kucherov. Want to see it so badly. My brain is now trained to never doubt the Pittsburgh Penguins. I can't do it. Until someone proves they can shut down those 4.
No, that's 100% true.
It's going to be a rematch. I really like Winnipeg. I just can see Hellebuck imploding more than I can see Rene doing it, to be quite honest. Nashville's defense is definitely better than Winnipeg's. And as much as Winnipeg maybe has a little bit of an edge in the forwards group, as far as scoring goes, I think Nashville is very balanced, and they still have some frontline guys that can score big goals and give you plenty of production. Yeah, go ahead.
My concern last year with because I think we had an episode where we were previewing the Cup final. My one concern with Nashville was just their forward depth, and that's like the one thing they addressed, and they addressed it very well. They're probably the deepest team in the league.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, if the odds makers could very well say Nashville is the favorite in that series, but
I'd take the Pittsburgh money in that case.
Yeah,
just because I need money.
Nashville Yeah, Nashville's got the D advantage on Pittsburgh. I mean, we don't need to get into it. I mean, but we've gone on long enough. But I am in agreement on the rematch. But I'll swing the other way.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
I was dangerously close to thinking that, and I'm honestly still like kind of tinkering in my mind.
Because I think Winnipeg's not that much worse than Nashville, but I just think in a 7-game series,
Nashville's got it.
Balanced forwards and their defense and Rene.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think if Rene and Hellebuck are both playing their best, Rene's still a better goalie. And my thing with Vegas is I hate to say it, but I could see them losing to LA, or Fleury imploding, or them not having a shutdown true number one defenseman. Currently, I think we all agree they will have a legit stud within the next 2 years. Vegas is going to have a very good D, but
I think I'm changing. I'm shifting over to the Penguins.
Oh God, too much good things tonight, but yeah.
No, I was in deep thought. I was in deep thought, and like it was another thing. It was my head versus my gut or my heart, and I was just like, I want Nashville to win because like I don't want to see Pittsburgh win 3 fucking cups in a row.
Yeah, I don't want them.
But like you just think about how good Pittsburgh is, especially I've been preaching like experience as a unit. Pittsburgh has that, and like that unit is just unreal.
Who has the best shot to? So safe to say Winnipeg probably has the best chance to beat Nashville in the series in the West.
Yeah.
Fair. Who between Boston and Tampa and Washington, I guess.
Well, I mean, technically Washington would be first because Pittsburgh.
Well, who do you think has the best shot? Who do you think? I mean, just face value. Who do you think?
Tampa, yeah. Tampa, that's probably going to be your Eastern Conference Final
they
again.
Can keep up with the scoring.
And I think that was probably the sexy pick all along. The beginning of the year was Tampa. Yeah, but I think I said in the beginning of the year. I think I don't remember. I should know this, but I kind of think I said rematch. I'll stick to it. I'm pretty sure. If someone wants to call me out, that I'm just beyond wrong. But my brain is remembering me saying for some reason that I thought we were going to have a rematch, and I think Nashville has done a lot more to make themselves better since that last matchup. But Pittsburgh is just they've been timely and advantageous, and even in a game where they maybe shouldn't have won it, in Game 6 last year, they found a way to win. They get a goal from Hornquist off Rene's fucking back. Yeah, I mean they always find a way. People doubted them with Fleury against the Capitals. They find a way. And the beginning of the year, they were a little sluggish. Again, do they have the 2-time cup hangover? And they play in a tough division? No. You know what? They got rolling again in the second half. So, yeah, I think Pittsburgh's going to win the cup. Definitely going to be Philly, and we're definitely going to be watching these series with a close eye and dropping some playoff previews. So, guys, thank you for joining me this week.
Yeah, good talk.
Absolutely. It was good to be back.
All right. Oh, one thing. Who's your bandwagon team in the playoffs?
Devils.
Devils? Yeah. My mom's from Jersey, so I'm going Devils. Always had a soft spot in my heart for them. Watching those Scott Stevens teams growing up and shit. For Durr.
I'll go Minnesota for the boys up here.
All right. That was good. All right. We will talk sometime next week when we have a few games under our belts for the playoffs and have an inclination of how our bets are doing and poised to move on to round 2. All right, boys. See ya.
All right, fellas. See you later.
See you.